Hey guys, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a knife video. You are looking at some of my larger fixed blades, some of my favorite fixed blades. We have the Bark River Trekker here. We've got the Koenig Bushy, and we have the Hinderer, the Ranch Bowie. All of these are knives that I've carried around quite a bit. All of these are knives that I enjoy a whole lot, and any one of these would be great in lots of different outdoor applications. All right, but there is a knife that kind of started it all, and I have not spent much time with the particular knife that we're going to do a quick first impressions on today. And one of the things that I want to say about this, by way of a little bit of humor, I guess, is to say, these are all great, survival options, but especially for Earth. Now, if you're going to be surviving in space on the moon, Jupiter, Mars, I don't know what planet, you might want something more appropriate for that venue. And that's actually what we're going to be looking at for the next couple of minutes. So the knife we have here is the KaBar USMC. Well, in fact, this is the USSF, as you can see right there. But this is an iconic historical knife. Okay, and one that has been around so long and so prolific that for a time soldiers would just talk about their utility knife as a K-bar. These guys, started being made by, I guess it would have been United Cutlery. Forgive me if I'm getting this wrong. Someone correct me in the comments. I think United Cutlery became K-bar. I'm pretty sure that's the history here. But United Cutlery was building these for the military in like World War II, and built a whole lot of them. There was quite a need, so they built a lot. In fact, they had such a surplus. The way I understand it is that these continued to be used, or the knives produced during World War II continued to be issued, for like the next two wars, Korea and Vietnam, and maybe even after that. But this is a prolific knife. I think all of us have been in a army surplus store and looked at something like this, but I have not owned one. And I've always felt a bit, remiss about that. Like I should have one. I should, at least talk about it. And recently, a Canadian knife retailer, who shall remain nameless, had this on sale for a decent price. And this is the United States Space Force version of the utility survival knife issued to the US military. All right. Again, I'm a little remiss in not having picked one of these up and spent some time with it before. Honestly, there were a few things that put me off on this knife, and I want to talk about those things because I want to be able to reflect back. So, essentially, in this first impression, I want to talk about the things that have kind of put me off initially and made me not really excited about this. And then when I do the full review and have spent some time using this and trying out how it works, I'll be able to reflect back on these comments in this video and see whether I'm completely out to lunch or not. Okay, so there are a couple of things here. First of all, look at the fairly low grind. It's fairly thick behind the edge. This does not seem like a super slicer to me. Now, it's pretty thick. We've got a pretty aggressive swedge out here, for stabbing purposes. We've got this large fuller. So the blade itself, doesn't really excite me that much. I would prefer this to be, this exact same blade shape would be fine. Just add like this much, right? So that it's a little more of a slicing tool. You'd still keep the same thickness of steel. You'd still, I would argue, keep about the same strength and utility. So that's one of the things. Just the way this blade is set up is not really my cup of tea. The next thing that has always bothered me about the USMC is the guard. All right, I get that you don't want your hand sliding up, but I a lot of times want to use my knife in a saber grip, and this just doesn't work for like you're kind of forced into a hammer grip. Now, I will give credit where credit is due. This, I think it's like Krylon they call it. This Krylon handle is very, very comfortable and really grippy. Like you get a really, really positive grip here. Which I definitely appreciate, and that's a pleasant surprise for sure. But I really don't like the fact that I'm not able to, have, a proper saber grip. Even there is a bit of a spot here, and I've been told, okay, that this is one of the ways you can hold this knife. But look how close my finger is to the cutting edge there. That makes me just a little bit nervous. So this is not a preferred grip for me. Maybe this, but this is really, really uncomfortable. And any really hard cutting task, one, you got to put a lot of pressure on your thumb, and two, you've got the backside of this guard kind of cutting into your thumb here. Okay, so to me, that's a little bit annoying. The guard has always been off-putting to me, and so that's another sort of reason that I haven't really gone in for this knife. All right. The last thing is the fact that this is a stick tang. Now, honestly, guys, this is not the end of the world. I've had other stick tang knives before. I love Mora knives. I love the Cold Steel Master Hunter. In fact, it's one of my favorite outdoor fixed blades. One of the ones that I recommend the most. Um, and it's a little more substantial than this, but it's sort of similar. So it's not that I'm totally, totally down on stick tangs, but I would just prefer something else. Okay, I prefer a full tang. Um, so for those reasons, I have sort of avoided this knife. Now, this one, because it's kind of this, outlandish coloring and it's to go with the Space Force, I kind of picked it up for the novelty of it. But at the same time, I really do want to spend some time with this and at least have this as a point of reference in my mind because this is so historically significant. Okay. By the way, this is a large knife. It's full 12 inches. I'll just grab the ruler here. So you can see we've got, a full 7-inch blade here and 12-inch overall. It's actually just like a hair under 12 inches. I'll just to make sure nobody has to do the math, including me on camera, because it never works on camera. So we got about 4 3/4 of handle, about 4 inches of grip area, and as you can see, about a little over a 7-inch blade, although the cutting edge is more like 6.5 inches. All right. So fairly substantial knife, fairly big. The blade steel is thick enough that this inspires a lot of confidence. Okay, so this is going to be a carbon steel, by the way. I can't remember if it's 1075 or 1095, but whichever one it is, both are good steels for this kind of purpose. And that's not, by the way, one of the things that have put me off this knife. But okay, those are the things that have primarily steered me away. Now, why did I buy this then? Well, I already told you, one, the historical relevance of this knife cannot be overstated. Okay, this is an iconic military knife for years and years and years, a survival knife for years and years and years. Like this was the survival knife, and you know, yeah, I mean, it was just I iconic and associated with, if you need a good heavy duty knife that you're going to really survive with, why not use the one that the military has? Not only that, but it's because it's been so prolific in the military, it's been prolific in surplus stores as well. And so lots and lots of civilians have had these and put them to good use. So all of those are the reasons why I wanted to check this out. And I have to say, I find this kind of compelling, especially in this colorway. It was just too hard for me to pass up when I saw this on sale. So I'm not going to comment too much more now, other than to tell you the reasons that I have not been interested in this. And we'll see over the next little while whether or not I've got to eat my words in this video, or whether my initial reaction to this knife was accurate and I could have just passed on it as something cool and historical, but not the best option for a field cutting implement in modern times. All right, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Would this be a pass for you? Do you already have one? Have you used one? Have you got some experience with it? And you want to go, Kevin, you're such a jerk. I've used this for everything you can think of, and it's just the most fantastic knife ever made. Whatever. I'd love to hear it down in the comments below. Thanks a lot for watching. We will talk to you soon.